Alright everyone, welcome back to Cody's Lab. So I have right here something that I've been working on for some time. This is actually supposed to be a furnace. I basically scrapped the old idea and started over completely. And this time I used exclusively some actual refractory cement. Also, this version has a lid. How about that? This is quite a bit smaller, but it'll still fit my crucible and it should actually work. You might be able to see that this was made with a tin can, similar to this, down inside of there that I formed the concrete on, as well as a steel pipe running in. It actually has a fuel injector and a controllable airflow. So this should get quite hot, but I still don't know how hot it's going to get, so today is basically going to be a test to see what I can do with it. So far it looks pretty good. Fire's burning mostly inside. See, it's developing a crack in the side of it here. Not much I can do about that. It's really not that bad. There's a lot of water vapor coming off, so I guess it's good to get it drying out. It's so hot in there I can't really look into it. So I'm gonna keep it running for a few more minutes and then I'm gonna check it on the inside. Alright, so I just turned it off. Let's see how it looks in there. Where'd my stick go? Let's see how it looks. I don't think it got nearly as hot as I was hoping it would get. But it's certainly rather warm. There we go. I think it's glowing slightly. So got to at least 800 degrees. That's about it. Well, you know what? Let's try to melt the gold in it. See if we can actually get it to work at all. So right here I have all the rags and stuff that I used when I was trying to gold plate my bumper, as well as the gold powder that I cemented out of the cyanide solution. And I'm going to try to extract the gold out of it today, I guess. So the first thing to do is to get all these rags and turn them into ash. Burn them up so that there's, take up a much less volume. Got a sponge in here too, apparently. Now that this has been converted mostly to ash, I'm going to go ahead and transfer it over to this crucible. Might have to find something to wipe this out real good, but there you go. See that? There's my gold powder mixed with ash. And now I just got to get it out. Now that I'm ready to fire it, I'm going to add in some borax and some sodium carbonate. Do just fine. That'll help. That'll act as a flux to help make the mixture liquid, so that the gold particles can sink out through it. Alright, it's in there. Let's put the lid on. So it looks like it's getting pretty hot, but not quite hot enough to melt gold. So I'm going to mix in some litharge, which is basically lead oxide, which will react with any carbon that's in there. I may have to put a little carbon, in fact. So this will turn into lead, which will collect all the gold particles and rain them down to the bottom of the crucible. That'll help collect the gold into a solid piece. Alright, here we go. Let's get this off. See it. Alright, let me get this pour. See, there's a lot of carbon and stuff in there. There's my metal right in the center. There's way too much carbon in this batch, but I should be able to recover it if I crush it real fine and then pan it. So it looks like this furnace, didn't really hold up too well to that hot fire test. There's a couple of big cracks inside of it. Well, I guess I could patch them up with some more refractory, but this metal can thing didn't burn out like I was hoping it would. It did partially over here, I guess, but oh well. It's like welded to the bottom of the can. There we go. Soldered to it, essentially.
Okay.
Let's crush it up and get the metal separated from the glass. There we go. So there's the bulk of the metal. There. Alright, so here's the big pieces of lead that I was able to pick out by hand. There's also a lot of little tiny pieces of lead, which of course contain gold, because what I was doing is using the lead to dissolve the gold particles, because the furnace wasn't getting hot enough. The lead lowered the melting point of the gold basically, so that it would actually turn into a liquid and form into solid beads. But I wasn't able to keep it hot enough for long enough, so not all the beads collected at the bottom of the crucible. So some of it was strewn throughout the mixture, and I just crushed it up so that I can pan it out. The sodium carbonate and borax, most of this will actually just dissolve, and then I'll just dissolve that away, wash away the dirt. It'll have a little bit of lead shot, and that'll be where my gold is. And once I get all the lead together, we can melt it down into a single piece, and then I can cupel it, which is basically I oxidize the lead away. Gold won't oxidize, so the gold will remain metallic, and as I burn the lead off, I'll be left with a little bead of gold. So let's get started on that. There, you got it?
Yeah.
Alright, so there it is. There's all the little bits of lead that was stuck inside of the glass, or the slag. Alright, I got it all together now. Go ahead and add these to it. Mill it down, pour it off to purify. And then I guess it'd be time to cupel it. Cupelling, by the way, is the process of oxidizing the lead, absorbing the lead oxide, and then getting left with a pure bead of precious metal. Alright, here it goes. I'm going to put it inside this furnace, just like I did the silver when I was making that ring. And I'm just going to leave the lid open so that air can get in there and oxidize the lead. And once this gets to about 1500 degrees, lead oxide will melt and start flowing into the cupel. Just past 1400 degrees, the lead is melted, but the oxide is not quite yet. Although it looks like the cupel's starting to suck up some of it. You can see there that the cupel's starting to turn red as it absorbs the lead oxide. Very cool. Alright, so it just passed 1500 degrees. This is Fahrenheit, by the way. And as you can see, the lead oxide is melted and is running off the top of the lead, exposing more lead, which is then being oxidized and then flowing off into the cupel. So it'll just keep doing this probably for over an hour. At about halfway, I think I'll actually take the lead out and switch out the cupels, because if the cupel gets too saturated with lead oxide, it could actually fall apart because it makes it weak. There we go. I set the camera up a little bit closer. Maybe you can get a little bit better view of it. Those vapors coming off, I think, are actually due to the cupel, but it might contain lead, so I've definitely got this well ventilated. Try not to breathe it. Let's take this one out. Pour off the metal. There we go. Find somewhere to set this. And let's put this cupel in there to finish it off. There it is. I don't know if you can really see it because it's so bright. The cupel basically acts like a sponge. It won't, and just like a sponge, it won't absorb liquid metal. You know, if you've ever tried to soak up mercury with a sponge, you just can't do it. However, lead oxide will absorb into a sponge. And that's exactly what's happened here. The calcium phosphate of the cupel is very porous, and the lead oxide can flow into it and be absorbed. You can see it probably could have absorbed some more, but I decided to take it out before it was completely finished, you know, just so I didn't have a chance of it breaking and falling apart in the furnace, which is kind of an annoying thing to have happen. Looks like it's just about done. I think the lead's pretty much gone, and I've just got a molten bead of gold. So let's pull that out of there and see how it looks. Oh yeah, look at that, it just blinked over. That means it just became pure gold. That's cool. I never caught that on camera before. There it is. Let that cool for a second. It should, if it is pure gold, it should solidify almost immediately. And yes, it did. See that, how it's not rolling around anymore? Let's let this cool off and see if it's gold colored. I imagine it will be. Okay, I just cooled it off in the snow. The snow's still melting, but you can see that there. Nice bright bead of gold. It's really cold enough I can hold it in my hand now. Look at that. Nice sizable chunk of gold there. Now keep in mind this is not the whole coin, because I had that piece that I cut off to use as the electrode, and this is not in here. Since that is still pure gold, I didn't want to mix it with it, because this right here is still going to need to be refined. It probably still contains maybe 0.5% of lead or so, which is enough to make it brittle and basically ruin the gold. So I need to refine this in acid before I can actually make a coin out of it. But there it is. Nice bead of gold that I extracted from those rags and recovered from my solution. So there it is right there. It's in Canyon's hand, comparing it to the bead of gold in her ring. Remember, this one was 1/3 of a gram, and this one's about, well, it's quite a bit bigger. Probably weighs 8 or 9 times more, which means this is about 3 grams, which would make sense because that piece of gold that I used as the electrode is about 2 grams. So I probably lost a little bit in the crucibles and stuff because I couldn't heat it up properly, but I was still able to make it work to this extent. I still need to refine this and make the coin again, which will probably be in another episode. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.